Welcome to Sacrilegious Discourse.
I'm husband.
And I'm wife.
Together we're reading the Bible for the very first time.
We grew up without religion and wanted to know what all the fuss was about.
Well, what have we learned so far?
That God is a dick, and apparently some people believe in talking donkeys?
We're not trying to pass ourselves off as experts.
Nope, we're just reading the Bible for the first time and giving our first take reaction.
If you'd like to join us in this venture, you might consider starting at episode 1.
Otherwise, jump in wherever you like.
All right, let's go read the Bible.
Yeah, let's get to it. Husband!
Wife!
Do you remember where we are and how we got here and what the hell is up?
Well, we are in Isaiah, and we just finished chapter 36.
Correct.
And I gotta be honest, I'm struggling here, but I think there was a lot of, help me out here, yeah.
It was a re-up of what happened in 2 Kings.
That's right.
When the king of Assyria sent his main man to go talk shit.
Yeah, the Assyrians had just taken down a lot of their other cities, and they had surrounded Jerusalem, and then the guys went out to meet them, and they were talking shit about everything, and they were like, "Don't talk in that language."
And they were like,
whatever.
Shh, keep it on the down low. You're scaring the peoples. And dude was like, "Fuck you, I'll shout it."
Right. Yeah,
and he actually did some good talk shit.
Yeah. And it was a lot more detailed than was in 2 Kings. So it was actually. It would have been nice to have back when we read that, which I did in our podcast. I did link to those other episodes that it was in.
Oh, good, because sometimes we forget.
Yeah, and it was
2 Kings or 19.
It was 2 Kings 18 and 19.
Oh, okay.
So it kind of goes through both of those.
I didn't realize it was both of them.
Yeah.
I knew, I tracked it down to one or the other, but I didn't realize it was both.
Yep. Before we get into what we're doing today, I did have a shout out I want to give here to a new patron.
Ooh.
Yeah. So they joined our Patreon as under the name Amanita Soul.
Which is fucking hilarious. Amanita is just a neat name, but then you add soul to the end of that.
No, it took me a minute to actually get it because I was like, what? That's a really cool name. But then I was like, soul. And then Amanita. Oh, yeah, Amanita Soul.
Amanita Soul.
Yeah. Okay, I got it. But their name is actually Terry D. And we wanted to really thank them immensely for joining as a new patron.
Terry D, thank you.
And we just can never really appreciate you enough. I mean, what you do for us by joining as a patron really helps keep this thing going, pays for the things that we need to have paid for. And I mean, it just means so much to us and helps us out so much.
It's true. We are just ever grateful.
Definitely.
So thank you, Terry, very much.
Thank you, Terry, very, very much. That being said, we just finished Isaiah chapter 36, which means that today we're going to be getting into
Isaiah chapter 37.
All right, let's do this.
Okie dokie. Okay, we are hopping into chapter 37 of Isaiah.
Okay.
Ready?
I'm ready.
When King Hezekiah heard this.
Okay, when they were bitching and they came back this is what they were saying, man.
And because they were like, that guy, he cussed God and then he cussed our people.
Right.
And they have us surrounded.
Yeah.
And they want us to just give up.
Right.
And go with them quietly.
And he says you're full of shit, basically.
Right. So when King Hezekiah heard this from his dudes, he tore his clothes and put on sackcloth and went into the temple of the Lord. So he was distraught. And that's kind of cool. The first thing he did was I'm going to go to God.
Right. I mean, he didn't really think, when he sent them out there, he didn't really think they were just going to walk away, did he?
I have no idea what dude thought.
Because, I mean, they surrounded the fucking city.
Right.
I don't think that usually means they're just going to walk away.
Well, I think that they had brought money or something like that, to say, please don't kill us or something.
I see. Okay.
I seem to recall that was kind of a thing, or they were going to negotiate something.
Got it.
And
Assyrian or they were trying to say our God says you're going to get screwed, so you need to get bent and go away.
Yeah, either that or take our money.
Right. Yeah. One of the two.
Right. Okay, so the King Hezekiah. Oh, you know what? I have a thing to say about he went into the temple of the Lord. There was some controversy when I was reading that because he's not supposed to go into the actual temple.
Oh.
Like, based back early on when they were, like, building all of these things. Like, you're not supposed to physically enter the house of the Lord unless you're, like, a Levite or a
right. Yeah.
priest.
Okay.
And so apologists were like, oh, it wasn't the actual temple. It was like the waiting lobby or, the outer part of it. And I'm like, oh, okay.
Whatever.
It doesn't say that, but okay.
Right.
Like, it's such a silly point to argue that I don't know why anybody would be like, they're not supposed to go in there. And then I don't know why anybody else would be like, it's not what it meant.
Well, if you're talking about exactness of phrases and stuff, then I mean, I guess it matters. But to me, that doesn't really. I don't give a shit.
I don't either. Like, let me be in charge of what's important and what's not.
Yeah.
Okay. He sent Eliakim, the palace administrator, Shebna, the secretary, and the leading priests, all wearing sackcloth, to the prophet Isaiah, son of Amoz. So first he went to the temple and he prayed, and then he went to the man speaking for God.
Well, he sent his people.
He sent his dudes. Yeah. They told him, this is what Hezekiah says. Okay, so the dudes are speaking for Hezekiah.
There's a lot of people speaking for other people.
It's true. This day is a day of distress and rebuke and disgrace, as when children come to the moment of birth and there is no strength to deliver them.
Oh.
Yeah, well, that actually happened to me.
Yeah.
my child got stuck.
Yeah.
They didn't want to come out.
Right.
It may be that the Lord your God will hear the words of the field commander, whom his master, the king of Assyria, has sent to ridicule the living God, and that he will rebuke him for the words the Lord your God has heard. Therefore, pray for the remnant that still survives. So, King Hezekiah is like saying, I mean, hopefully God overheard that whole conversation.
Yeah.
And will give him the smackdown, but we can't do anything about that either way. So we're just going to pray for the few survivors.
Sure. Okay.
Which, that makes sense.
Okay.
I mean,
but wait, is this what Isaiah is saying? Or is this what the people that are going to Isaiah are saying?
The guys are speaking for Hezekiah. They're
okay.
They're like, hey, Isaiah, Hezekiah wanted us to tell you that those guys were assholes. And King Hezekiah is like hoping that God overheard that, but either way, he's like, we need to pray, and you're the man of God, Isaiah. So can you
help us out here?
We need you to pray,
right?
God for the
put people. Like a really important note on this or something,
right? Like urgent,
yeah.
When King Hezekiah's officials came to Isaiah, Isaiah said to them, tell your master, this is what the Lord says. So yeah, we're playing.
It's like a game of telephone.
What about if the Lord and Hezekiah talk to each other?
Right? That seems like it'd be a lot more efficient.
Like, cut the middleman.
Right.
Why?
Yeah.
Just why? Isaiah said to them, tell your master, this is what the Lord says. Do not be afraid of what you have heard. Those words with which the underlings of the king of Assyria have blasphemed me. So God did hear it.
Yeah.
He was fine with his people getting blasphemed, but
not God.
Don't you blaspheme God, because he is a uppity bitch.
Yeah, he's gonna eat you up now.
Yes. Listen, he says. When he hears a certain report, I will make him want to return to his own country, and there I will have him cut down with the sword. Boom.
Wow.
What do you think of that?
I mean, yeah, that's not good for them.
He's like, Isaiah is telling them, God got you. You don't worry.
Right. Yeah.
Which, I don't know how I feel about that.
This doesn't sound, I don't know. It feels like they've already lost here.
Yeah.
So I have a hard time believing that this is like any type of a historical account.
Right.
If these people really did take over like this whole area and then had Jerusalem surrounded the way they're talking about, there's no fucking way.
Didn't you see Sparta? When the field commander heard that the king of Assyria had left Lachish, he withdrew and found the king fighting against Libnah. Now Seneh Shorab received a report that Tirikah, the king of Cush, was marching out to fight against him. When he heard it, he sent messengers to Hezekiah with this word: Say to Hezekiah, king of Judah, do not let the God you depend on deceive you when he says Jerusalem will not be given into the hands of the king of Assyria. So he's like, these guys are coming to get me, but still, like, don't you be thinking that your God's on your side. He's on my side.
Okay. All right.
Surely you have heard what the
So these are competing ideas here, right? Is that what we're...
No. There's other nations that are now coming against hold on. King of Cush was marching. These other guys are coming against the king of Assyria now.
Okay.
But
I thought they were going to get in trouble for asking for help from other nations too.
They didn't ask for help from other nations.
They just showed up.
Correct.
Okay.
Well, they didn't show up to help Hezekiah. They're just like, hey, while these guys are at war with each other, let's war them too.
Okay.
So they're like, get them.
Sure.
And so Seneh Shorab is like, well, don't be fooled into thinking that this is like good. God's not really on your side, you fuckfaces.
Right.
When the field commander heard that the king of Assyria had left Lachish, I just read that, sorry. Now Seneh Shorab received her, I just read that too, sorry. Okay, when he heard that they were marching to fight against him, he sent messengers, say to the king of his, I didn't realize how far back I had scrolled, sorry. Okay, Jerusalem will not be given into the hands of the king of Assyria.
Okay.
Surely you have heard what the kings of Assyria have done to all the countries, destroying them completely. And will you be delivered? Did the gods of the nations that were destroyed by my predecessors deliver them? The gods of Gozan, Haran, Rezeph, and the people of Eden who were in Tel Assar? Ooh, Eden.
Wow.
Huh? What? Where is the king of Hamath or the king of Arpad? Where are the kings of Lair, Sepharvaim, Henna, Iva?
If I had to guess, I'd say dead.
Yeah.
Or enslaved.
Yeah. Like, basically, all these various little gods mean nothing. Like,
right.
I'm not worried about them.
Yeah.
Hezekiah received the letter from the messengers and read it. Then he went up to the temple of the Lord and spread it out before the Lord, because the Lord can only read it if you...
if you take it up really high and then spread it out.
And he's like, put on your monocle. And Hezekiah prayed to the Lord, Lord Almighty, the God of Israel, enthroned between the cherubim, you alone are God over all the kingdoms of the earth, even though the majority of them have never heard of you and don't know anything about you.
Right.
Okay.
Yeah.
You have made heaven and earth, but you didn't, though. Give ear, Lord, and hear. Open your eyes, Lord, and see. Listen to all the words Seneh Shorab has sent to ridicule the living God. It is true, Lord, that the Assyrian kings have laid waste all these peoples and their lands. They have thrown their gods into the fire and destroyed them, for they were not gods, but only wood and stone, fashioned by human hands. Now, Lord our God, deliver us from his hand, so that all the kingdoms of the earth may know that you, Lord, are the only God.
Okay.
That's a strong prayer, actually.
Prove yourself.
Yeah. I mean, that's a strong prayer.
Right.
I kind of, like, that's showing your faith. Like, I respect that, honestly.
Right.
Like, you're about to get beat, might as well. Then Isaiah, son of Amoz, so Isaiah, the prophet.
Yeah.
Sent a message to Hezekiah, the king. Okay. This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says, because God is too much of a little bitch to come talk to you himself. He told me to tell you.
Right.
Because you have prayed to me concerning Seneh Shorab, king of Assyria, this is the word the Lord has spoken against him. Okay, are you following this?
Yeah.
He's like...
The God's now speaking against the king of Assyria.
Yeah. He's like, God heard him.
Because of the prayer that Hezekiah did, and now God is telling Isaiah to tell Hezekiah that through
He's like,
him.
I heard them, and I read your letter.
See, again, it all seems very inefficient.
Yes.
So.
That's not very practical.
No.
For a God who's supposed to be perfect.
Especially when you have enemies like right outside your walls.
Right? At the gates. Enemies
they're
at the
here.
gate.
They're here.
Yeah. Virgin daughter Zion despises and mocks you. Daughter Jerusalem tosses her head as you flee. Who is it you have ridiculed and blasphemed? Against whom have you raised your voice and lifted your eyes in pride? Against the Holy One of Israel. How dare you fucking insult me, you bastards?
But is this Isaiah saying this to them, the Assyrians?
No, he's still talking to Hezekiah.
Okay.
And he's speaking for the Lord.
Got it.
By your messengers, because he's telling Hezekiah to tell them.
Okay. Yeah.
By your messengers.
So he's going to send his people again.
Yeah. You have
ridiculed. Hezekiah is going to send his people again. Yeah. Sorry.
By your messengers, you have ridiculed the Lord.
Oh, wait. No, he's talking about Assyria.
Yes. But he's talking to... Isaiah is speaking for the Lord, talking to Hezekiah, saying, send your guys to talk to Seneh Shorab.
No, that's not what it's saying at all.
What?
It's saying he's talking about Assyria and the messengers that he sent to them.
Listen. Then Isaiah, son of Amoz, sent a message to Hezekiah.
Yep.
Okay?
Yep.
This is what the Lord, the God of Israel, says. Because you have prayed to me concerning Seneh Shorab, king of Assyria, this is the word the Lord has spoken against him.
Okay, yeah, I'm still with you.
Virgin daughter Zion despises and mocks you. Daughter Jerusalem tosses her head as you flee. Who is it you have ridiculed and blasphemed? Against whom have you raised your voice and lifted your eyes in pride? Against the Holy One of Israel. By your messengers you have ridiculed the Lord, and you have said, with my many chariots I have ascended the heights of the mountains, the utmost heights of Lebanon.
Oh, so this is the message they're sending back, that they have that they have ridiculed them through their messengers.
Yes.
Okay. There's just too many fucking messengers.
Yes.
I'm having trouble keeping track of it all.
I know. Well, he didn't specifically change his and tell Hezekiah, tell the messengers. I just understood that when he said, by the words you guys have said, you messengers of whatever.
Right.
So you were just supposed to just know it.
Yeah.
And that's hard.
It's just not clear.
It's not clear. I have cut down Lebanon. I have cut down its tallest cedars, the choicest of its junipers. I have reached its remotest heights, the finest of its forests. I have dug wells in foreign lands and drunk the water there. With the soles of my feet, I have dried up all the streams of Egypt. Have you not heard? Long ago, I ordained it. In days of old, I planned it. Now I have brought it to pass that you have turned fortified cities into piles of stone. Their people, drained of power, are dismayed and put to shame. They are like plants in the field, like tender green shoots, like grass sprouting on the roof, scorched before it grows up. But I know where you are, and when you come and go, and how you rage against me. Because you rage against me, and because your insolence has reached my ears, I will put my hook in your nose and my bit in your mouth, and I will make you return by the way you motherfucking came.
He was doing that to his own people, though. You remember he was putting the bit in the Israelis' mouth.
But now he's doing it to Assyria, so it's good.
I guess, yeah.
Seneh Shorab. So we cheer now.
Oh, okay. Sorry.
JK. Yeah. This will be the sign. Oh, he's talking back to Hezekiah now.
Okay. Yeah.
Isaiah, speaking for God, is now directing the message to Hezekiah.
Okay.
This will be the sign for you, Hezekiah.
Okay.
This year you will eat what grows by itself, and the second year what springs from that. But in the third year, sow and reap, plant vineyards, and eat their fruit. Once more, a remnant of the kingdom of Judah will take root below and bear fruit above. For out of Jerusalem will come a remnant, and out of Mount Zion a band of survivors.
So he's basically saying, yes, you all got destroyed except for this little group of you here remnant in Jerusalem.
Yeah.
And you're all going to grow back out of here and become something again.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. Again.
Right. Again and again and again and again. Right.
The zeal of the Lord Almighty will accomplish this. Therefore, this is what the Lord says concerning the king of Assyria. He will not enter this city or shoot an arrow here. He will not come before it with shield or build a siege ramp against it. By the way that he came, he will return. He will not enter this city, declares the Lord. I will defend this city and save it for my sake and for the sake of David, my servant. Because remember, he had said, descendants of David will sit on the throne forever.
Right.
Then the angel of the Lord, it wasn't the Lord anymore. It's the angel of the Lord.
All right.
The angel of the Lord went out and put to death 185,000 in the Assyrian camp.
Wow.
Remember that?
Yeah. I do remember that.
But I thought
that's not turning them back the way they came. That's just killing them all.
And I thought it was 165, but now it's 185.
They never get math right in the book.
And I'm bad with numbers, so that could be on me.
Sure.
But
that's just like,
boom, dead.
Yeah.
What?
And we talked about this at the time when we read it the first time, and it was just like, what the fuck happened?
It came out of the blue, like, oh, you just killed a population.
Well, like there's not a lot of other times in the Bible where God specifically
wipes out
kills
an entire
groups of people,
like with the snap of a finger.
Right. Like, no, it's usually done by some army that he's,
a tool.
Yeah, a tool.
Yeah.
So this is one of the few times where an angel of the Lord or the Lord, whatever,
right, chooses
to just vanquish an army.
Right.
It's really interesting.
Yeah.
And you would think that would resonate, I think, still today.
Right.
Like outside of the Bible.
If that actually happened.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
There'd be like some like what the fuck type stuff going on. Like what happened?
165,000 fucking people just killed over dead. What?
Yeah, that would be odd.
Right? When the people got up the next morning, there were all the dead bodies. Oh, that stinks.
Man, that's not good.
That is not. I don't want to be there for that.
No.
I'm not on that detail.
Right.
So Seneh Shorab, king of Assyria, broke camp and withdrew. He returned to Nineveh and stayed there. One day, while he was worshipping in the temple of his god Nisroch, his sons, Adramelech and Sherazir, killed him with the sword.
Son of a bitch.
And they escaped to the land of Ararat. And Esarhaddon, his son, succeeded him as king. The end.
Okay.
Yeah.
He had a rough time there.
Yep.
Huh. Well, I mean, I'm just not going to attribute to God at all, because he lost a battle, obviously, right? That this is what's actually being discussed here. He lost a battle.
Right.
And obviously that culture was very much about showing strength, right?
Yes.
So when he lost a battle, and if this really happened at some level, like somebody beat him in war,
right,
he was weak in the eyes of other people, so they killed him, and then they took power.
Right.
That's the way things worked, right?
Exactly.
But yeah, I'd really like to know if this does match up in any way whatsoever to like any type of historical event. I don't think it does, but it would be like that would be something I'd be interested in looking into for the Q&A possibly.
Q&A, baby.
Right? Yeah. Cuz it's such a crazy event.
Right.
It's such a big amount of people that die at the hand of God.
165,000 people.
I thought they said 185 in there.
Oh yeah, whatever.
Yeah. A large amount of people.
85. Yeah.
Right. But yeah, I would just be curious. So, all right. Do you have anything else for us today?
I do not have anything else for us today.
Awesome. Well, that was Isaiah chapter 37.
It sure as fuck was.
Which means that we'll be back tomorrow with
Isaiah chapter 38.
All right. We'll see you then.
Bye.
Hey, wife. I guess that's the end?
But husband, that's just sad.
It doesn't have to be. We are on lots of social media platforms like Twitter. Our handle there is sacrilegious_D.
For D's nuts.
Oh my God. Stop doing that. Anyway, we're also on Facebook, Instagram, and Pinterest. There's a link to all of our social media sites at our website.
Ooh, we have a website?
Yeah, it's sacrilegiousdiscourse.com, where you can also find a link to our merch shop.
We have a merch shop?
Yep. We have podcast-themed clothing, mugs, notebooks, and more, as well as an atheist and science-themed products.
Wow, our fans should really go check that out right now.
Definitely. They can get in touch with us by sending an email to sacrilegiousdiscourse@gmail.com. But before they do that, we could really use some help.
Oh yeah? With what?
Well, it's not free running the podcast, and we need some financial support in order to get better equipment, which will free up time so we can concentrate on our podcast and our fans.
Okay, so what should they do?
Head over to patreon.com/sacrilegiousdiscourse and sign up as a contributor on our podcast. Supporters there receive additional bi-weekly episodes that we record just for our Patreon members for as little as $2 a month.
Also, we'd really appreciate it if you would like and subscribe on whatever platform you're using.
And Apple Podcast reviews help us out tremendously.
Like and subscribe. Leave an Apple review. Join us on Twitter. Support us on Patreon. That's a lot of instructions. Don't forget to say thanks.
Thanks.
Okay, bye.